Wait, we got your face in there. That's not going to be good. Oh, there we go. A little Steve Spires action.
Yeah. He was an awesome guest.
He's a Weasel boy.
What about David Spires?
He was at the barn last
Is
night.
that he related to Steve?
Their brother.
I wonder.
David's New Country. But he toured with Jody Messina.
He was in Nashville with
Yeah.
Rex, my friend. Rex,
Okay.
who I used to play with. Yeah.
He played with Josh Turner.
Uh-huh.
I forget. Lots of people. But
That's the memories.
came back home.
That's why I tell people I said, and I can shut this place down today and have enough memories, you know, to last a lifetime already.
Yeah. So how old is David?
How old? He's older than Steve. I don't know exactly how old. Maybe 45. I don't know. He's got a young son. He lives at Twila Quinn. He's real good at what he does.
Yeah.
New Country. He said he was at the barn last night. Steve's the Weasel boy tonight. I don't know if he's solo or with his band.
Country music is a lot different than it used to be, that's for sure. Because it's country, but the lead guitar sounds more like
Rock.
Yeah, rock. Big time.
All the young people, because I started in country on the road.
But I can remember
And
growing
we
up.
all wanted to play rock. And our parents said, absolutely not.
Really?
No.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that was part of the equation.
Oh, yeah. Our parents were like with us all the time because we were young. I mean, I had a bass player who was 9 years old with Rex, the guy who I played with, and he's the only one of us that stuck it out.
What's Rex play?
Stem.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know Rex.
That's a great name. Some people just it's a really, it becomes a passion.
It hit me really young, the traveling part, and I didn't like it.
There's so much energy in it.
Yeah.
So Steve Spires, 16 miles from our hometown.
Steve Spires.
Bringing us in there.
Welcome to the This Week in Metal Show. That was, we started the show out with Steve Spires. He was our guest here not too long ago. Awesome guy, awesome musician, for sure. And, well, tonight we have Twila with us. And she's going to be telling us her journey in the music world. And Paul, welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
My
You
pleasure.
are an awesome co-host, that's for sure.
Thank you. I bet you tell that to all the guys.
Yes. Well, what we normally do is you know remind these guys that what's coming up this summer here in Zanesville, Ohio.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Well, last night you missed it now if you didn't go, but David Spires was at the barn.
right on.
Some good new country there. We were just talking about the Spires family. And tonight, Lost Dogs is at the barn. That's Ben Rush and Mike Morosco. And
Awesome guys.
they play a lot of songs you know, but you don't hear much. I
The
guess.
B-side.
Yeah, kind of. So it's a lot of fun. Songs
Which
you
is
hear
awesome.
often.
Yeah.
Never Surrenders at Mill Dam Corner. They're going to join us here June 16th.
Right on.
So you can
June
preview
16th.
tonight Mill Dam Corner over on Buckeye Lake. And Backbone tonight is at the Coshocton Elks.
Awesome
To
guys.
anybody up that way that wants to get out.
Right on.
And then, of course, the holiday weekend, there's all kinds of stuff going on. You might remember, what's he call himself? Humphrey Lindbergh.
Yes,
Dave
that something babies.
Dave Spangler, yeah, Lindbergh babies.
Lindbergh babies.
He mentioned when he was here, they're having a big party tomorrow. So I'm planning to crash
These
that.
guys are just so
I guess,
fun.
I think I'm invited. Does that mean I'm not crashing it? I'm invited, I guess. Ethan Timms at the Guernsey Brew House tomorrow.
I like it.
Jay Bishop is at the barn. Jay is 17, I think.
Yes, that's that young boy. Yes.
Yeah, his father Tim was a country singer.
Yes, awesome.
But I've been talking to Jay and his parents.
I invited him on the show.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, a real nice kid. He's been singing with his dad. He's been singing on stage since he was a fetus.
Awesome.
So he's pretty comfortable up there.
I think it was him that he was down at the barn one time, wasn't he?
He's come down to my jam a few times.
Yeah, I thought I met him there. Yeah.
He plays classic rock. He's a young guy, but he likes our music. But you know, face it, that was some real music at the time. Still stands up.
I can get him on here.
Now tomorrow night there's some area bands here playing in Columbus. Black Sasquatch, which I know they've been on the show numerous times. They're at the Big Room Bar in Columbus, along with the Reedy Weeps.
Yeah. They was here also.
Okay, yeah, I know their area band also.
Yeah, awesome guys.
And then Backbones at the Barn tomorrow night.
Okay.
So Coshocton tonight in the barn tomorrow. Then Sunday, Colin John is at the barn.
I wondered about that. I saw
blues
that.
Guy, yeah.
Get to the barn.
He's brilliant.
So I think there's having an earlier start.
A lot of
that
stuff
night,
going
like
on
6
down
o'clock
there.
or something.
Yeah, a lot of music down there.
And then June 1st starts the Secret Summer Concert Series, the outdoor free shows.
One's up the Secret Auditorium.
Thunderstruck kicks that off.
Yes,
AC/DC next Thursday.
Great.
And Straight Jacket is opening for them.
Yeah, all right. They were also here.
Yeah.
The studio is back there.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Now, same night, Thursday, Ethan Tim is at Georgetown Vineyards. It's a cool spot if you haven't been over there. It's a little different. And then June 2nd, the Appalachian Outlaws is going to be at the barn, which that's Justin Geezy, and he has different players got to rotate through. But they played down Sechrist and rocked the house pretty well.
All right.
And then June 3rd is the Team Kobe, which she was just on here.
Yeah.
Anti-bullying, suicide prevention.
Yes.
All-day music showcase, they're calling it at the barn on June 3rd.
Awesome lady.
Matt Frampton just signed on to come play.
All right.
We start off as going to be all like alternative music, but as things have developed, it's kind of...
It's a good cause.
Getting whoever was available on volunteer, but... God bless Matt, he always volunteers. Or allows me to volunteer, I should say.
Mad respect to the local bands, though, for, because like I said before, I've never heard him say no to a charity, a fundraiser, or stuff like that.
Very generous. And nobody gets asked to work free more than musicians, and I hate to be another one that asks, but I do.
Hey, we're coming for you.
That's just, for my world, that's how you raise money. You get a bunch of kick-ass bands play some music and have people, kick something in.
Mad respect.
And there's other ways of doing it, but that's the fun way to me.
It's up to you guys.
And bless the musicians for being willing to play.
That's right.
Like
You guys,
Twila
you guys rock.
We'll talk about that some more. But at that Team Kobe show, I mentioned Matt Frampton. Flo, who's a rapper out of Columbus, is going to play. Mark Donnelly and I, DQ, we call it Twila Quinn, we're going to play some. Bo Jameson is playing in Dejected.
Yes.
And Young Jermaine and Biggs. He raps, he has a song, I'm Back Zanesville, that I like.
Okay.
So tell me more about this Team Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe was bullied at school and killed himself. So his parents, Chad and Tammy, started this effort to not only call attention to it, but they've been at it for a few years, and they will help parents, children, schools develop safety plans.
Right.
If somebody's getting bullied,
Exactly.
they go assess the situation. They figure out, it's as detailed as where's the bully going to sit? Where's the kid who's being victimized? Where's he sitting?
Yes.
Who's responsible for watching each one? It's detailed, and they figure out how to situate everything so that everybody's safe.
That's great.
When they first started out, nobody wanted to admit there was a problem. She was saying so. It was tough at first, but people pretty much accepted it now and realized. Give a shout out. My sister Gretchen is in the Greater Zanesville Singers.
She certainly is.
And they have a show June 4th at Coburn Church.
Cool.
Right on.
I don't have a time. I think it's in the afternoon, 2 o'clock or something. There's a Facebook event out there on it because I created it.
There you go.
But if you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A big choir,
Great
a lot of
group
singers.
I've heard that.
Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out. And then just a couple other things I want to mention. June 6th in Newark, Picking Sticks, which I've met them. They came down and play Paul's Jam. It's a bunch of young guys our age that play classic rock, and they're playing the Mayor's concert in Newark. I don't know where that is. I'm envisioning outside, but I don't know. Then June 8th is the next edition of Paul's Jam at the barn.
June 8th.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'll just mention June 10th is Community Cares Day at Zane Landings. There's a bunch of bands playing, and I don't have the full lineup. Neon Tiger, who's been on here, and they're scheduled. Straight Jacket, I believe.
Awesome.
And now, offhand, I forget who else. My apologies.
A lot of stuff.
June 16th, 18th is the commemoration. So,
and we're going to be playing at that.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
All right.
On June 18th, Father's Day.
That'd be the Sunday.
2 o'clock.
Great.
And I think Riff Raff is following us, so it should be a big jam.
We got to hang out with them boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome guys.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, I mean, there's lots more stuff coming, but that's good. We could talk some more about that.
Yes. Get to Zanesville. Get to but there's more music here than you know. Surprised. But Secrets, Doc Twine, the barn. I mean, the barn alone, man. Horns up to Jim Watson for what he does, man.
No, I try to share a lot of this stuff to a few different Facebook pages too. PQ's Rock and Roll Circus is always a good one. I try to share just about everything music to there.
That's great.
Yeah, if you have any questions, get a hold of Paul. You can't with me at the moment. I'm out of the phone and
well, they can do skywriting and courier pigeons.
Yeah, yes. Send me a letter.
Yeah, there's still ways.
Yeah, there's always a way and stuff like that. Great, man. I mean, Horns up to Zanesville, Ohio, man. For Jesus Christ, man. I mean, it's we've always been known for a lot of the music events and stuff like that, the Zane Landing and stuff like that, the bike shows and
be sure to remember Limitless Recording Studios.
Yes,
Market Street at the Freight Shop.
Yes, the guys, absolutely.
He has rehearsal space. He can do field audio, studio recording.
Them guys are great guys.
He doesn't ask for much.
That's right, and I'll vouch for them that they will do a good job.
He's doing Shorty's sound now.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. So hey, you know what to do.
He can work his way up to the Quinn family singers.
Yeah, we actually did a show from down there.
Yeah, we did.
Drew Boston.
Studio.
That's So,
yeah, good guy.
So yeah, they got in a good place down there too.
He did a lot of work on that space to get it ready, but
yeah, absolutely. So
cool.
All right, I guess we can start
victimizing Twila.
Getting her head and stuff like that.
So when I was a kid, I don't know, I'm 10 years old, maybe younger. My older sister Gretchen was, we were all going to the Catholic school, and she went to Zanesville High School. So she's getting to know all these other kids that we
did your Hail Marys and our fathers
encounter. And so one that she brought over was this young lady that she told us was going to be a singer. And my dad was really into music, as is our whole family, but it means more when Dad's interested.
Right.
And so, as I recall, Dad had told Gretchen, so I'm going to hear this friend of yours sing. And so I think I was asleep in the living room for some reason. And suddenly I heard this voice from the dining room belting out, I think it was the happiest girl in the whole USA.
Oh yeah, because that was on country then, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, what's that? And of course that was you there singing to my dad, and it just, not that was the genesis of your singing career, but my first appearance on my radar, and have been singing ever since I can remember now.
Right. I started when I was 5 in church, singing with my family, the Kennedy sisters. Then I was in a talent show at Maysville High School when I was a freshman. Of course, I sang all throughout my life. My father played country music in the backyard when I was in the cradle, So that it was born to me.
Right.
Unfortunately, I never liked country, But I was on the road with the band, Mike Stem and the Nashville Express, and I did stuff on my own, and we opened for, you know, Archie Campbell, who used to be on Hee Haw.
Yeah.
We opened for Hank Williams Jr., who's rolling into town here too, when he was first starting out in West Virginia. The very first time that I sang on a stage, I was with my grandmother, and it was a place around here, I can still remember it, called Royma Acres. And you know who was there was Flat and Scrubs.
Oh.
So that's how much my family was into country music.
And they dictated that you had to go into country music, or not at all?
Right.
Okay.
It was
And
huge back
it was
then.
like I was born into I thought somebody dropped me off in the wrong spot. Because you know what
I don't
like
belong
to do.
here.
I mean, I like to do theater, rock and roll, anything but country. Of course, country then is not like it is now.
Right.
No.
Right?
No.
And you know what? Hank changed all that for the people now.
If it was today's country,
Yes,
probably
yes.
be
He's
the
I
the
agree with you on
one
that.
who paid all the dues. He did.
Yeah.
For all the people that's doing what they like to do now, because all the
Exactly.
young people wanted to be rockers. Let's just go there.
Yep. And
Sure.
hey,
You know,
Well, the
Hank
Beatles
Williams
came
Jr.
out.
Right.
Definitely.
and everybody wanted to play guitar.
Right, and in
Yes,
the
yeah.
70s, nobody
Yeah.
liked country music.
Yeah.
And so when I met your sister, I was actually on the road doing all of this
Oh, okay.
stuff. And I didn't tell any of my friends a lot about that because, one, they would probably think I was nuts. And two, nobody was into that kind of music. So I didn't want anyone to know.
It's not like you were bragging about.
Well,
No.
it's called experience. Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
pretty much what it was for, you know.
Hmm. And then from then, I finally got to do rock, or semi-rock, pop. There was many bands in between. My friend Rex, who I told you about, he's been all over the world. He's the only one of us that stuck it out. I had an offer, but by the time I was 18 years old, I was already tired of the road. I just couldn't take it anymore. And
Burned
some
you out
people
early, didn't
are
it?
real good at that, and some people I was not. And I thought, I'm not going to sign another 10 years of my life, you know, away after I gave up everything. Like,
We was talking about
You
them
know?
contracts earlier and stuff.
Right.
And you know how how are you ready? You
Right.
know, you really do have that have to have that mindset, you know,
Mhm.
and think about it, you know, because you know, once you sign that, you belong to them. You
Yeah.
know, so
my friend who stuck it out, Rex, right? He's back here now, and he
Mhm.
said, I made the right choice. Because I have a family. I have two wonderful kids and your cousin, who's my husband. So I loved your family so
Family.
much. I married your cousin, you know? And really, that wasn't planned. It just kind of happened that way.
Mhm.
But that's how much I loved your family, though. So and John's family. I mean, the Quinns are great people.
if you're in the music scene, your family. You know,
Right.
It really is one big
Exactly.
huge family. You know.
Now, when you were touring, were you making any money?
Yes, we made money. Our parents managed all that.
Okay.
And I grew up
This is for
dirt
you. This is for
poor.
me.
Right. I grew up dirt poor. Like my family had 8 kids, right? And my dad, like I said, worked some, played music. He used to play on WWVA and Wheeling with my cousins, but they don't make money. I mean, let's just go there. I did make money when I was younger, and I spent money, you know, and my parents got money, right? I mean, I helped them out because I lived there under their roof, and I was their child, and they were really the ones pushing me to do that. So, yeah, we made
They
money.
knew you had a gift.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yep. But anyway, on the Royma Acres thing, when I was with my grandma, I was 3. She made me get up and enter this contest. And I sang with no music behind me, a religious song called I've Been to Calvary. And so that was
Right. At
3
3 years old. Yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
I got up and I did it for her. And I shut my eyes. I remember that the whole time. Because, I mean, there was a lot of people there. It was in this big field at a barn. And the musicians backstage, I never got to meet Flat and Scrubs because they came on later. But they were like, we'll play for you. And I said, no, I got to sing by myself. You know, because my grandmother told me to do that, you know. So my grandma was a big influence in my life, too. She really was.
Okay.
You know. And then from
Thank you,
country,
grandmother.
yeah, I went to work with John Moore, right? I met up with John Moore, and we had a couple of successful bands. Little Rock, back in the 80s.
I have heard that.
Yeah, we with the Dalton Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I've heard
we
them
did
also.
a lot of Eagles and anything that was going on. Blondie.
I thought that was all part of the
Right.
T-Birds, but that was a different
That
band.
was a different band. And then years later, I had heard Hannah Chalcraft, right? And I loved her. And I had already been working with John, and so the three of us got together and the T-Birds came about. And that was a
Right on.
very
For a long
successful
time,
band.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Very
now
awesome. I heard of you.
I played with Matt Frampton and the Potentials for a while.
And the Felonious Goat.
Right, yes, that was before the Potentials.
Yeah.
And now I'm with 50 Years After. And I love the band now. And I'm hoping to get something together with Casey Summers.
What an amazing music career you've had.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
that's,
I've been
definitely,
blessed.
definitely been in there.
Yep,
Now, who's in your current band? Bob Presnell.
Bob
we talked about.
Presnell, lead guitar master. I mean, he
He's
had no pedal at the barn. No,
Right.
the one little tiny pedal that he had
Right.
didn't work, so he played with no pedal. To me, that was freaking amazing.
Because I went over and I complimented him. I said, you only have one pedal. I'm so impressed. And right then it started acting up.
Started acting
It
up.
held it. I don't need a pedal.
Right,
Hey,
exactly.
what happened to them days where you just plugged in?
Right?
You
That's
know,
what he
that's
did.
it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
just plug in and play. That's called raw. You know?
I've heard several people say Bob's probably one of the best in the area.
Yes.
He is amazing. And the reason the band's called 50 Years After is because three members of the band, John Coleman, Bob Presnell, and Jim Rose, who plays bass, all worked together in a band called Standing Ovation
I remember.
50 some years ago
Yeah.
at Moorside Beach and all the beaches when they used to have bands.
Yeah.
So that's why where 50 Years
Okay.
After came from.
Yep, I remember the standing ovation. They used to practice right down the street from me.
Right. And then the brilliant drummer, Bob McBride, he's brilliant.
That just proves how
love
much
him.
energy that music has. I mean, because look, I mean, you've been doing this for, I mean, it's a lifetime.
Pushing
I mean,
70, 2 more years.
And hear
Right.
that? There's no excuses.
Right. Right, there isn't
right,
any
yeah.
excuse.
That's right. It's either 100% or nothing.
Right.
Because there's no in between. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it is. I respect the musicians that do have that passion and stuff
Right.
like that, you know, so.
And your band was kind enough to come down to the barn last weekend and play the Andy Jam.
We had, that was our
Yeah.
really first, well, we
Yeah.
played the commemoration last year, but that was our very first,
Mhm.
really big. It was great. It was a great turnout, great time.
You guys are playing classic rock, but
Yes.
what's your take on is there certain kinds of songs you're going after, or just whatever strikes
Well,
your fancy?
I love theater, I used to. But then and when COVID first came out, I had that. And my husband and I were in bed for nearly 3 weeks. This is before you could get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And
Riding it out, huh?
It did nasty things to my voice. It really did. I've had to work really hard to be able to sing what I'm singing now.
Oh wow.
It's called LPR, and I believe like Celine Dion, she had issues with that. That's why she canceled her show in Vegas.
Yes, I heard that.
COVID did bad things, and it's like
Mhm.
stuff that you don't even realize is going on.
Mhm.
So I've had to I can't sing like pretty stuff like anymore, like Barbara Streisand or any of the big stuff that I used to be able to do. But I love what we're doing now. which is a lot of Deep Purple.
Right on.
I mean, I'm singing
We love
stuff
Deep
now
Purple.
that I wanted to do when I was younger.
There you go.
And so
Yes,
now
yes,
I'm able to do it. Santana, a lot of
Right.
Santana. Yeah, everything we're doing. Blues, I love blues.
Oh yeah.
I love blues, you know. Creedence,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Annie Lennox. I am able to
Right.
belt out some of her songs. But Annie Lennox actually did the Creedence song, I Put a Spell on You. That's
Yeah.
really a
Yes,
Creedence
yes.
song, but Annie Lennox redid it.
I
So I
haven't heard
put
Annie.
like her voice to
Okay.
their.
Did she pass away?
I don't think so.
Really?
God, I hope not.
Because I know
Tina Turner just did.
Right.
Okay.
My
maybe.
heart.
Oh,
Did she have
wow,
a living
Tina
abroad
Turner.
somewhere?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
I think
30 years or
France.
something.
I think France. That's what I heard. I saw her at Polaris years ago with Cyndi Lauper
Oh.
as an opening act.
Oh wow.
Just brilliant. I mean,
Right
she
on.
was queen
She was a show woman, huh?
of rock. You know,
Well,
really.
she's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
So, you know,
Exactly.
uh,
Yes.
I
Cyndi
never
Lauper.
heard the videos back in the 80s. And,
Mhm. Yeah, she kept on going. Like she wasn't young when
Right,
she
yeah. Yeah,
actually
exactly.
made more money then than she ever made in her whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they were just saying that in the 80s. You know, yeah, I think she was living in France.
She did that. She wrote that song "True Colors" and which
Oh,
went
Cyndi
huge.
Lauper.
Yeah, she went,
Mhm.
went huge, and I think because not only did she do it, but Phil Collins actually did it.
Oh, really?
And
Well, girls just want to have fun, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She bop. I know.
Well, of course you would go there.
I know. Why do you know that?
Yeah, Tina, simply the best.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what she was all about, and that's what she was. You know.
Right.
Incredible.
You had an amazing, amazing music career. It's pretty
Yeah, I've
awesome.
been fortunate. So the moral of that story is, if you can't take the road, you can still play music.
Yes.
You know, you can still play music and
Regardless.
do it your way.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you how to do it, or that's what I got tired of. How to dress, you know. And I was so young trying to practice walking in heels before going out in front of massive people, you know. I mean, I would break out in hives, but I'd get it done. But it was very, very difficult, you know.
Well, some people say the one time they're at peace is when they're up performing, but
Once you're there and once you're into
Get
it,
in the
and the
flow,
feedback
yeah.
that you get, that's your payment.
leading up to that,
That's
though,
your
You got
pay.
it. You got it.
Is
Once you see you got that
Right.
audience, you know,
Exactly.
and they're with you and stuff. so
Exactly.
It's a great thing.
hmm And that's addictive. That's
Yeah.
what you can't give up, you know.
A lot of bands are like that, you know. They miss that.
Mhm.
That, you know, the being up there, that attention and that
Mhm.
energy. It
Mhm.
really isn't a adrenaline thing, you know. So I understand that. I mean, look at Ozzy Osbourne. I seen a documentary on him where he was all crippled backstage, but once he got on the stage,
Right.
it was
Completely
just
different.
it's just like you know,
hmm
music is the best medicine.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
it really is.
It's a healing,
is.
it's therapy, it's everything.
Right.
You know, so.
I think a part that maybe people don't realize how difficult it can be is, like, in your position, you're usually out front singing
hmm
and just relating to the audience, you know,
Mhm.
how much to talk to them or,
Mhm.
you know, not.
Mhm.
Pretty much hanging out, you know.
You know,
Right.
I always played drums, so I just kind of hide back there. If I said something cool, if not, nobody cared. But
Yeah.
it's different when you're the one right in front, everybody's looking
the
at
front
you.
man, yeah. That's
I
it.
kind of, the older I get, I kind of like to hide. I kind of like to.
Already been there, done this. I'm just gonna hide back here now.
I'll sing really, so you know that I'm there. But you don't need to see this body anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Who's that guy?
So yeah,
Hey.
yeah. It's been a fun,
Oh, hey, Doug.
fun,
Hey.
fun time.
That was
Yes, right on. I mean, definitely mad respect to you on that. Because remember the guys out there, man. I mean, never, ever, ever give up. on
Exactly.
music and stuff, man. If she can do it, come on.
So I'd like to hear more about this, your transition then from country to rock. You said something about you met John Moore. How did that
Country to rock.
Was that the key?
It's a long story, but my husband, John, was living with John Moore. John Quinn was living with John Moore in Columbus. 5 Johns in one house. You know? And I had actually dated John Moore for a little bit. I hired the Muff Brothers because I produced in high school. Our class needed to make some money. So I produced a show and I hired the Muff Brothers. I gave the Muff Brothers their first big time job.
Right on.
And I raised, I think it was between $5,000 and $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, because we did like 3 shows, where a night show and then during the day. And they were sold out. But I hired the Muff Brothers to do this show, and that's where I met John Moore.
Wow.
It was called Saucer Full of Secrets, and I came out of this big cup. I mean, we designed the whole show, and that was the first time
about the stage.
I ever got into producing, and I really, really loved it.
Wow.
You know? And stuff in high school, like I worked with Andy Levesque, right, at the Welcome Center for 8 years. We did like a Las Vegas style show where we had dancers and singers.
It was very popular.
In high school, I loved having a dancer behind me. So I did produced a little show and I did Mr. Bojangles and had a dancer behind me dressed like a bum. And I love producing too. But then I met Andy Levesque, and he is one of the most brilliant producers. He really is. I mean, hands down. And he's a great producer. And he brought stuff out of me that I didn't know I could do too. So I give that to him, you know.
So
yeah.
he started you on the rock thing.
John Moore did.
Okay, John Moore did, but
Andy pretty much got me into doing theater. Well, a lot of stuff really. I could do anything I wanted to do on that stage, which I loved.
Theater is actually pretty important in the music scene too.
It is.
Because to be that character on stage,
right.
For one thing, So.
And you learn volume.
Yes.
When I was in high school also, I got a scholarship from one of the groups to go to Pennsylvania to work with Fred Waring, who you guys are too young, you don't know who this guy is, but he was a massive producer, kind of like Mitch Miller, okay? And he had a TV show in Pennsylvania, and he had the Waring Singers. And so I'm just a teenager, right? But I can sing, I know that. And I think I'm kind of that. But I go, and there's 250 kids from all over the country who's just like me, who is brilliant. And then I sat down beside one of Waring's singers, who he taught, right? I couldn't hear one note coming out of my mouth. And you know what kind of volume I had, right? That's where I learned volume. We had teacher from Juilliard. There was different teachers that would teach you music. So high school kids, whenever you can get into a program, you need to do that.
Yes.
Because I ended up, being able to perform for Mr. Waring.
Get that
Which
experience.
out of 250 kids, you try out and you get to do that. And his singers were impeccable. They were all college students. They were all music students. There was a couple there that were violin players from Latvia. And I did that while I was in high school when I was running around with your sister.
Wow.
So
amazing. I've met a lot of musicians like that. They were just you just tell they're so gifted, and talented and stuff like that. So it's actually an honor to meet them. A lot of little, young kids and stuff are, just blow my mind.
We learned 60 songs in 2.5 weeks, and we performed a show. So we had 8 different teachers, And that's where I learned discipline too, because at the end of the night, Mr. Waring would come in to see what we had worked on all day and sing for him. And some kid, there was a bee in front of him, and he swatted it. And Mr. Waring said, "I'll come back tomorrow when you're ready for me."
Yep,
because
that's right.
The kid swatted the bee. So what do you learn there? You learn to whatever you're doing on stage, that's what you're doing. No matter what's going on around you, that's what you're doing.
That reminds me of watching this documentary on Kiss where Paul Stanley's hair caught on fire, and he just kept on playing like it was nothing. And and that guy came out and put him out, and he just nonstop just kept on playing. You know, hair on fire.
That's right.
But to follow up on your rock and roll career, then, so you met John Moore by hiring the Muff Brothers.
The Muff Brothers.
Yes.
And I went to my high school prom with him, so that was cool.
And then he said, "Hey, you want to sing with my rock band?" Or
well, that's the Muff Brothers. Actually, that was the talk. But at that time, I was already on the road doing country. So my dad's like, "You're not going with some band to Columbus. You're out on the road opening for these big country stars. You're not. There's no way you're doing that kind of thing."
I love you, Dad, but you're getting away.
I know, and I really, I wanted to so bad, you know. I really did, because that's what all the kids
Well, in a
wanted.
way, it's like the dark side.
It's meant to be.
The
Things are just meant to be in your life. That's what I feel.
So how did it happen?
The rock part of it?
Yeah, how did that?
Well, the country band, they were all young, and we all wanted to play rock. So we started to play rock. Well, then the parents' house that we were rehearsing at said, "You're not going to be able to rehearse here if you guys are going to keep playing that kind of music." Right. Yeah. So we had to move out of there, and
devil's music.
yeah. And then we just started playing like pop, not really heavy duty rock. We worked at Holiday Inn. Remember that when Howard Johnson's?
Yeah.
Howard Johnson. And Howard Johnson's actually right here in Zanesville. That's the biggest offer that I had. The guys that came in there to see me, they put you on Johnny Carson at that time.
Right on.
But that's another 10-year contract.
Yeah.
And that's when I met your cousin, you know, and fell in love and decided I didn't want the road anymore, you know.
Now it's been rumored that you just married my cousin to get close to me. I'm not asking you to verify that or not. Just thought I should share that.
Yeah.
It's just funny how things work out, you know. Things are just meant to be.
You got it. It really is. It's like it's each a chapter of a book, you know. Each chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you had told me, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is probably some of the most talented musicians you played with.
Yeah.
It
really is. Yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Yeah. They really are. I mean,
what an amazing journey.
You heard him. Yeah. Didn't you like him?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I said, lots of people came up to tell me how much they enjoyed your set. So.
Yes. Yeah, and we're able to like put things together very quickly too, you know.
But with all the experience you got there, then probably it's got to help.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob Presnell's a great.
Is he the commander? Is he the one that keeps things running?
Yeah.
There's always got to be somebody in the band.
Yes, and you're right.
Making it
You're
go.
absolutely right about that. And I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead. Just tell me what to do.
It could be a
I'll
pain in
do
the
it.
ass. There's got to be the lead.
It is.
That's right.
It is.
There's
You have
always
to
that
answer
line.
to everybody, you know, and smooth things over with everybody or whatever, you know. Yeah. There always has to be someone that. I mean, and he's really the one that formed this whole band.
Is he handling most of the booking too, or do you know yet? Okay.
Yeah, he does that. Yes.
Right on.
I never wanted to do that job.
Okay.
Even when I was working with the T-Birds and we had, I went on vacation and I came home and there was 125 calls. And my husband's a builder, so like 25 was for him and the rest was for hiring the T-birds. And I think he kind of was stepped back about, that for a moment, because then your wife's getting more calls than you are, and sometimes that takes a little toll, but God bless him, he lives with a musician, and
That's right.
my kids have always lived with a musician mom, and they've survived it somehow, so, yeah.
And it's provided a lot of fun, I'm
You
sure.
will live forever with the music, as long as you stay in the music. I mean, it's the energy that has alone, it's like incredible.
I remember Leanne when she was little. We were playing for a private party, and some of her friends were there, and so I brought her with me. And so the guy that we were working for came out, and he says, "Well, what would you like, Leanne? Would you like?" And she said, "I can't drink any beer." And he said, "Well, what is your mom's band a beer band or something?" And she was like, "I can't drink any beer." She was like not even in kindergarten yet. That was kind of embarrassing.
My kids would have been going, how about a whiskey?
But cuteness at its best.
So coming up, you have the commemoration.
Yeah.
Again.
Commemoration.
Yes.
It's just in a couple weeks, I think.
Yes.
Be there.
Father's Day.
June 18th, did you say?
Yes.
Father's Day.
Father's Day.
At
2 o'clock.
And that's at?
The Putnam Landing.
Yep.
Across the bridge. Yeah.
The right there at that field, right there.
Yeah, like right up from the river. Yep, in the little park there. And Riff Raff is going to be following, from what I understand.
Yes.
So,
these guys are so great. They're so awesome.
Yep. Yes.
I've been following them for a long time.
Hopefully more gigs to come, but
Oh yeah.
right now people should get on, follow your Facebook page so they
Hey, there you go.
know what's
Or
going
just
on.
talk to Bob Presnell.
Or talk to Bob Presnell.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Twila, thank you very much, man.
You're
What
welcome.
an amazing,
My pleasure.
What an amazing story and journey you had, and that's what it's all about. And I mean, musicians should learn from you, and keep that passion. That's just a perfect example of how it works and stuff. If you really let the music sing, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it forever.
Mm-hmm. As long as God keeps it in you.
That's right. That's right.
The voice, and
Keep
sometimes
giving.
the legs don't work, but the vocal cords still work.
And
so.
it's a way of giving back, because you are
Right.
giving, it really is. It's some people love to hear that in your voice. You might affect that one or two people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about.
Good.
Have you learned any tricks for you have a sore throat and you
Oh
gotta
yeah. There
Try to
is
get out of it.
really there is a throat drop called Fisherman's Friend, and actually you should be paying me some money for selling your products for the last probably 25 or 30
Fisherman's
years.
Friend.
I learned about it from a comedian that I was working with when one of the bands that opened for us, and he told me about him. I think he was from New England, because that's where they're from. Fisherman's Friend are the best throat drops money can buy, and they're very cheap. And I mean, I had everyone in the Follies when I did that for 20 years. All the singers were taking them. There was one drugstore around here that had them. And now I think all of them carry Fisherman's Friend.
Okay.
They're real strong menthol, but they have slippery elm root. That's the secret. Slippery elm root is really good for sore or hoarse vocals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good tip.
Very
And
much.
everybody said it's Jack Daniels.
No, alcohol dries your throat out. So yeah, it really does. And what do musicians usually do but drink and smoke?
Right.
The two bad things that are right.
Right.
Right on. Sandra, you want to do this? Well, hey, thank you so much for being on here, and thank you for telling. We will definitely archive this story and stuff like that. A huge honor to meet you
And you also.
hear
Honor
your
to be
journey and
here.
stuff like that. Okay, we're going to have.
They're going to do a segment.
We are going to have Sandra to do the This Week in Metal list. And
That's some good.
okay, let's concentrate on this, okay? And I've been letting her do the This Week in Metal list and stuff like that. So we'll let her in the show with the This Week in Metal.
Okay, I'm only gonna do that.
Okay, well, when's these albums come out?
Okay,
The week of what?
the week of May 22nd to the 28th.
May 22nd to the 28th?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see, we got Ozzy Osbourne,
Ozzy Osbourne, what album was that?
2007.
Okay, what was
Black Rain.
Black Rain, 2007, Ozzy.
1979 is the year that I was born. Kiss Destiny,
All right.
which is my boyfriend's favorite band, rock
Yes.
band. But he loves all rock bands.
What, 1979?
Nineteen-
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yeah. I was going to say, she said just, I was going, wait a
Stevie
minute.
Nicks, 1994, Street Again.
Okay, 1994 Streets.
Yep.
Okay, Stevie Nicks.
We got Matchbox 20.
Matchbox
that
20.
came out in 2000, Mad Season.
Mad Season,
Okay, I'm
the
gonna
year 2000. Go ahead, just get his name.
Chicago Night Day.
Chicago. What's the name of the album?
1995.
I mean, what's the name of the album?
Night and Day.
Night and Day. All right, Chicago Night and Day.
2014 was Kiss 40 album. 1974 was David Bowie, Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs.
Gun N' Roses, Civil War, 1993.
Guns N' Roses Civil War, 1993.
In 1983 is Dio, Holy Diver came out.
Dio Holy Diver.
And then we got in 2011 Journey Eclipse.
Journey Eclipse, what year?
2011.
No, that was okay. I don't think I think it was earlier than that.
1993 was Doobie Brothers.
Doobie
Listen
Brothers.
to music, that's my favorite
Okay,
song.
Doobie Brothers, what year?
1993.
What's the name of the album?
Listen it. Listen to the music.
I think it was before that. But that's okay.
Okay.
All right, that was This Week in Metal List, man. Thanks for all you guys' support. Thanks for watching the show tonight, and we will see you next week. And I'm not sure who's going to be on here next week, but you will find out during the week when we post it. I want to thank Twila for being on the show tonight, man. What an amazing story that was, and her journey and stuff like that. So go to her Facebook and check her out and give her some love and stuff. So we will see you next week. Horns up.